Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny, and boy, do I have a treat for you today. Today, we're going to be watching some clips from everyone's favorite all-American blonde bimbo next door, Pamela Bondi. And I mean that with no disrespect to literally any other blondes in the world. I'm sure you're all lovely people. I would suggest maybe grabbing yourself a snack, definitely a box of tissues, and potentially a pad of paper and a pen if you feel like you might need to be schooled in how to speak with people in a warm and heartfelt manner, because boy, oh boy, does she just put on a show at this hearing. So these clips are from the oversight hearing on February 11th of this year, 2026, and let's just hop right in.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victim's lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victim's survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, fully redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your deputy attorney general said, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI. And it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction. So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time. Mr. Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time back? Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So yes. I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer?
I just cannot stand the way she speaks through this whole thing. It's literally like, like a teenager. I have a teenager. He's way better behaved than she is. I can't get over the way she speaks. Come on. It's so absurd. I can't even handle it. I don't have words. It's gross. She's gross. That's all for now.
On that political joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes
You
of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
4,700,
Okay.
and we invited you in.
Show the video.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
time
get
is
on
on.
these
You watch the video.
matters.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the
himself.
rules
There
here.
is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals.
Is that your position as well?
My position is any victim who comes forward, of course, we would love to hear from them. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Did you ask Merrick Garland that?
We will see, by the way, in the next few minutes, just how willing they are to speak with any of the victims, because that is brought up as well. But I absolutely love how basically all she does throughout this whole thing is insult everyone. She sounds so ridiculous, childish, like a little kid, and it's so embarrassing. This is like the most amazing example of third-hand embarrassment that I've ever seen. And if you aren't sure of the definition of that, that's third-hand embarrassment, is also known as vicarious or secondhand embarrassment, is the emotional experience of feeling awkward, ashamed, or uncomfortable on behalf of another person, even if you're not directly involved in the situation. And I personally couldn't think of a better example than watching this woman during this hearing. It's a joke. She's a joke.
The last 4 years, did you talk about Epstein?
I am
at
reclaiming
all
my
the
time.
last
I'm
4
glad you're
years?
asking about Merrick Garland.
You don't get to reclaim
because
time
this
when
is
you don't-
bigger than
when you can't-
Watergate.
when I don't answer a question the
this
way you
goes
want.
over 4 administrations. You don't have to go back to Biden. Go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion
Then
of it.
that's
Now,
where the
I want to
most
know at what point did the FBI and the DOJ decide that Lex Wessner was not a co-conspirator? Because our Epstein Files Transparency Act requires you, please put it back on the screen, please, to release the internal decision about whether to prosecute him or not. And it's not in the files, and it's not in the files for any of these other men.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
Answer?
And he's a hypocrite because he voted against the ban that we were talking about on deep fake AI porn. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
It's so
The gentleman's time has expired.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, could she answer the question?
Chairman, I was wondering,
The gentlelady's allowed, the Attorney General's allowed to respond the way she wants to respond to any member's questions, Republican, Democrat.
I have unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized for a UC.
All right. This is an example. I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted, even when you go to look at
Without
them.
objection.
I'm submitting a witness statement that implicates Les Wexner.
Without objection.
I'm submitting an article from the New York Times that the DOJ released nude photos and
Without objection.
identifiable pictures of the victims. I'm submitting a letter from AG Bondi to Kash Patel, imploring him to quit keeping the files when you found out that they were keeping files from you, because they're still redacting files that you.
Chairman, are we going to
Without
recess for votes?
Yes, we are.
I'm submitting for unanimous consent a document of 17 individuals who've resigned because of the Epstein files.
Without objection.
Support journalism.
All right. That is the first clip we're going to watch. Essentially, her tactic this entire time is just to deflect like everything, bring up the past administrations, and then insult the people. It's like, wow, have you put on weight? You're looking really fat. That's what I feel like she sounds like the whole time. And it's so embarrassing. It's absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe these people are running our country. It's insane. But we've got more. So let's watch the next one that I have here. Just get it pulled up here just a moment.
Ms. Crockett from Texas is recognized for UC.
Thank you so much. Donald Trump's approval rating implodes on his strongest issue. This is from Newsweek today. It says 40% of people
Thank you.
approve of
You don't
Trump's
need to
handling
read
of
the article to
immigration
us.
and border security, while 60% disapprove.
Without objection,
That is a net
admitted.
drop
Now I
to
recognize the
negative
gentleman
20.
from California, Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. I'm going to show you 2 photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you 2 photos of former Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry that we redacted the victims.
Because you
Really tough question. Hard to follow for Ms. Pamela. Every time I say that, by the way, I don't know who follows Laura Cleary, but I think of Pamela Pumpkin.
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was attorney.
How freaking annoying. I can't even, it's the most absurd. She's ridiculous. Essentially, she was hired to just gaslight. That's her job, just gaslight people and not actually answer any questions. She doesn't answer anything this entire time, by the way. Never, not once. She's absolutely useless.
General and set before
I agree with you.
twice.
I'm reclaiming my
Did you?
time.
Never.
I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures. But you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another
Can I answer
question.
your question about protecting?
You answered the question.
You're
I'm-
saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files.
Is it just me? When she speaks, does everyone hear like your teenage child? Like, I love it. You won't even let me talk. It's just so absurd. I can't even get over her disposition and how she speaks to these people. It's mind-boggling. It's so juvenile and absolutely ridiculous. It's infuriating.
Like former Prince, here's a video. Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
So the question is, were there any underage girls that attended that party? That's the question. Let's hear her answer.
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things.
What are they trying to do? They're trying to deflect. I think, what's that meme? I don't think you know what that word means. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files.
I claim my time.
be
I got your
released.
answer. You said there's no
President
evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman,
that
please
they
stop the
be
clock.
My
Please
time.
stop the
signed
clock.
legislation. This is
Time.
this
I'd like
is
to
ridiculous.
Time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a
I
crime.
believe you just lied under oath.
I'm sorry. Let's clarify something really quickly. If you are committing a crime or are assumed to have potentially committed a crime, then they have the ability to consider the fact that you potentially committed a crime. You're not immune to that. So by acting like you are, I mean, come on. You're just showing your hands, right? It's ridiculous.
Oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove.
It's literally like when a child says something under their breath to get, like, the last word, like, "You're fat," or whatever, like, mind you, my children actually don't talk like this, but this is the vibe that it's giving me when she just said under her breath, "You're a liar." Like,
Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell. So should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a
I love his response. I don't know how you
question.
He
Go ahead,
doesn't
you're
want
allowed
to talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his
She
state.
can't just ask.
So, he doesn't wanna talk about stuff going on in his state. That's probably because they're there to speak with you about, like, stuff with you and, like, how you guys are running things. So he's probably not gonna come before you and say, "Do you know what's been going on in my state that I've maybe dropped the ball on?" I'm sure that was where his head was at. It's insanity. All right, last one, guys.
Good morning, Attorney General Bondi, right here. We are joined in this room by some of the thousands of survivors from Jeffrey Epstein's horrific sex trafficking ring. They have shown such incredible courage in speaking out, in demanding accountability to bring the predators and pedophiles to justice.
All right, guys, this is the important part. If you're looking to take notes on how to speak in a warm and heartfelt manner, very professional manner, then this is the part you really want to make sure you take notes on, okay?
The Epstein Files Transparency Act required your Department of Justice to disclose the perpetrators connected with Epstein's criminal activities and to redact the information of survivors to protect their identities. Let me show you what actually happened. First, in violation of the law, your department has shown a pattern of redacting the names of powerful predators. Here behind me is one example of an email from Epstein to a man whose name was redacted. The email reads, quote, "Where are you okay? I loved the torture video." Only after members of Congress demanded that we see the unredacted files did the world learn the name of this individual, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the chairman and CEO of a company that had financial ties to President Trump's business and personal ties to Trump's advisor, Steve Bannon. Second, the survivors were not similarly protected, also in violation of the law. Here is another email titled Epstein Victim List. We have blurred the names of the survivors for their protection.
I just want to point out this lady here, if you keep an eye on her facial expressions, they're golden.
But your Department of Justice initially released this list of 32 survivors' names with only one name redacted, along with numerous files that disclose not only the names, the emails, and the addresses of survivors, but also nude photographs and even the identities of Jane Does who had been protected for decades until your department released their names. Survivors are now telling us that their families are finding out for the first time that they were trafficked by Epstein. In their words, quote, "This release does not provide closure. It feels like a deliberate attempt to intimidate survivors, punish those who came forward, and reinforce the same culture of secrecy that allowed Epstein's crimes to continue for decades." To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice. Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening.
Remember how just a few minutes ago she was stating how if there's anybody who needs to speak to us about any crimes that were committed and she provided the FBI's contact number? Yeah, so much for that, right?
Statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before, Merrick Garland sat in this chair
Oh, deflecting to Merrick Garland. Here we go.
twice.
Attorney
Did Merrick Garland release their names to the general public?
General
Twice.
Bondi.
No, can I
gonna
finish my answer?
No, I'm going to read.
Here she is. She's going to go ahead and act like absolutely just flabbergasted that she is turning the question back around on Ms. Bondi.
Claim my time because I
The
asked you a
Attorney General, yes, sir.
specific question
Attorney General
that
can
I would
respond to your
like you
question.
to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness gets to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
That's not
respond.
accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she
It
doesn't
is
like the
my
answer.
time.
So,
Mr. Chairman.
why?
She doesn't like the answer because you're completely avoiding what she asked you. So she doesn't like the answer because you're not actually answering what she asked.
I have asked
Didn't
a
she ask
question.
Merrick Garland this? When
Reclaiming
he
my
sat in my
time, and
chair.
when
I
I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman, the
my-
gentlelady's
time.
I'm
reclaimed her
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
So it would be getting in the gutter to apologize for the unredacted email listing all of these individuals' names. It would be Pam Bondi would be getting in the gutter to apologize for the error that they made in releasing and allowing people these individuals know that they had been trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein. She's considering it putting herself in the gutter like she's trash to even bring herself low enough to have to say anything to these victims. That's what I get from that. Is that just, am I the only one or what?
Time belongs to the gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you. You're not going to answer this question, so let me just
Chairman,
say
I'll
this.
direct it to
What a
you.
massive
No, I'm
cover-up.
answering a
Mr.
question.
Chairman, will you
Chairman.
restore her time? The witness
I'm
is
not gonna get
interrupted.
in the gutter with this woman.
Stop the
She's
time
doing
and
theatrics.
let me have my time.
The gentlelady from Washington controls the time. The gentlelady has 17 seconds. You can proceed with your final
Thank you.
17 seconds.
What a massive cover-up this has been and continues to be. Donald Trump made the release of the Epstein files the center of his political campaign because he thought it would benefit him. Then you got into office, Attorney General, claimed to have a client list, only
Regular
to
order.
then say that there was no list. Your deputy,
The
Todd
time of
Blanche,
the-
met alone
time of the
with
gentlelady
Ghislaine
has- the
Maxwell
time of the
and
gentlelady has
transferred her
expired.
to a minimum security prison. And now you continue
The
the
time of the
cover-up.
gentlelady
And I
has
wish
expired.
that you would turn around to the survivors who are standing right behind you and on a human level,
Chairman,
apologize
Chair now
to them
recognizes the chair.
on what you
Unprofessional.
have done.
Time of the
I
gentlelady
yield
expired.
back.
The gentlelady, you have no time to yield back.
Theatrics.
That's it, guys. I don't have anything else. This was a 4-hour long hearing, so there was a lot more, but these were obviously the highlights that have been going around anyway. You may have seen them, but I figured I couldn't not say something about this because it's so absurd. What a freaking embarrassment. I genuinely don't have words. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, that's it. I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and be sure to follow along. I've got another video coming up in the very near future for you guys, and I'll talk to you then. Hope you have a great day. Bye.